Good evening. Welcome to the Mind of STEM channel, where you get your daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. I'm your host, Leon Jones. And in this segment, I'll talk about one of my favorite engineering technologies. It's civil engineering technology. Now, as you know, there is a overlap between engineering and engineering technology, but there are subtle differences between engineering and engineering technology. Now, depending on what school you go to, engineering technology is accredited by ETAC of ABET. Now, ETAC stands for Engineering Technology Accreditation Commission. It used to be called TAC of ABET, but they added the E at the end to emphasize that it's not technology, it's engineering technology. And then you have another accreditation called ATME, which is out of Michigan. Now, when it comes to accreditation, you have to go with ABET. Why? Because with some engineering technology programs, I should emphasize some states. Now, 38 states, if you have a degree in engineering technology, you are allowed to sit for the FE and PE examinations as long as your degree is accredited by ABET. Now, something really crazy is happening at Purdue University. Do you know if you major in CGT, that's computer graphics technology? You can also take the FE and PE examinations. Why? Because that is accredited by ETAC of ABET. Now, the reason why I'm emphasizing accreditation is because there are different types of courses that you have to take. Now, in Indiana, if you major in engineering technology, you have to fill out a supplemental form stating that you took courses that engineers took. Now, I went to Temple University and I graduated with a BSET. It's a Bachelor of Science in Engineering Technology. Now, the reason why I am able to sit for the FE and PE examinations is because I took all of the math that the engineers took, from algebra all the way up to differential equations and statistics. I took calculus-based physics. I took all the chemistry. I took calculus-based fluid mechanics. I took calculus-based statics, calculus-based dynamics, calculus-based mechanics of materials. With that being stated, I decided to go the engineering technology route because, for the most part, when you go to the bigger schools and you take engineering programs, a lot of your professors use those courses in math and science as weed out courses, because when you get to your junior and senior years of engineering, the classes are smaller. Now, getting back on topic, the difference between engineering and engineering technology is based on the science, the application, the design. Because when you have an engineering team, you have a scientist who does all the research, then you have your engineer, your engineering technologists, your engineering technicians. Now, Again, when it comes to engineering curriculums, a lot of them focus on the theory. When it comes to engineering technology curriculums, a lot of them take the theory from the engineers and they apply the science to the discipline of engineering. Now, there are basically four branches of engineering. It's chemical engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, and electrical engineering. And when it comes to engineering technology, I haven't seen too many chemical engineering technology programs, but I've seen a number of mechanical engineering technology programs and electrical engineering technology programs. Now, there are some civil engineering technology programs, but they're not as big because a lot of your civil engineering technology programs are encompassed in construction management engineering technology, construction engineering technology, and construction management that has engineering applications. And basically, when you deal with civil engineering, you are dealing with infrastructure. So, what I'm going to focus on tonight is the civil engineering technology discipline. So, the title of this video is Why Study Civil Engineering Technology? I'm going to give you that answer right now. If you are one who loves design, you love construction, but you don't want to deal with a heavy load of calculus-based math and science, then civil engineering technology is for you. Now, I say that because there is a lot of overlap between civil engineering and civil engineering technology. A number of individuals in academia will tell you that engineering technology isn't worth the paper. It is, because when you get out in the real world, you're still an engineer because, again, 38 out of 50 states, if you have a degree in engineering technology and it's from an ABET accredited institution, you can take the FE and PE. Now, I'm going to share my screen and show you what you will find in the discipline of civil engineering technology. Now, this is an actual PowerPoint that I created when I took E&G 120 at Ivy Tech Community College. In fact, if you do go to Ivy Tech and you're in the Richmond area, favorite professor of mine was Patrick O. Piper. He also teaches at Purdue University Richmond, which Purdue University Richmond is a statewide campus of Purdue University West Lafayette. And he is a great professor when it comes to engineering technology. And we had to give him a presentation on a discipline of engineering technology. Now, I am giving you my actual PowerPoint of civil engineering technology. Now, first of all, what is a civil engineering technologist and technician? Now, I put the technician in there because Cincinnati State and Technical Community College has an AS degree in civil engineering technology where you can concentrate in surveying, construction management, or architectural design. Now, when we talk about a civil engineering technologist, it's a person who exerts a high level of judgment in the performance of engineering work while working under the direct control and personal supervision of a professional civil engineer. Now, a civil engineer technologist obtains a 4-year degree accredited by ETAC of ABET. Now, we go to what a technician is, because basically a technologist is a liaison between the civil engineer and the civil engineer technician. Because the good thing about being a civil engineer technologist is you can actually do both tasks. You can design and research just like regular engineer, and then you can do all the testing just like a technician. Now, when we deal with a civil engineering technician, it's a person typically performing tasks oriented from science or engineering related activities. Again, it's a person who performs scientific or engineering related activities. And what they do is exercise technical judgments commensurate with those specific tasks. Now, the specific tasks that I'm going to tell you are, if you are a civil engineering technician, let's say you're sent out to a construction site. What you're going to do on that construction site is you may be one who inspects a building or road to make sure that it is being built to specifications. You're going to be the one who is documenting and reporting to the contractor. You're going to be the one taking the measurements out there for quantities when it comes to paying the contractor. You're going to take the slump test. You're going to take the air test. You're going to take the nuclear density test. You're actually going to be the one in the field documenting all the work that is being completed by the contractor. Now, when it comes to education, the difference between a civil engineering technologist and a civil engineering technician is that a civil engineering technologist has a 4-year degree, and a civil engineering technician has a 2-year degree. Now, there are some schools like Ivy Tech where engineering technology degrees are accredited by ABET. Of course, it's Cincinnati State and Technical Community College. Their civil engineering technology program, which is a 2-year program, is accredited by ETAC of ABET. Now, let me tell you this. At Old Dominion University and Temple University, civil engineers and civil engineering technologists have the same instructors. So if you can't handle the harsh math of civil engineering, you think you can go over to a civil engineering technology program, you're going to be lost, because academically, if you are a technology student, now you have the option of taking algebra-based physics or calculus-based physics, but you do have to take at least 2 semesters of calculus. After that, you have the option of also taking algebra-based statics, calculus-based statics, algebra-based dynamics, calculus-based dynamics, algebra-based strength of materials, or we call it mechanics of materials, or calculus-based mechanics of materials. From my humble opinion, if you want to take the FE examination, take the calculus-based courses, because it's much easier for you to get into grad school if you want to go to grad school. Now, moving on. As with any discipline of engineering and engineering technologies, civil engineering technologists have roles. So when we talk about the roles of a civil engineering technologist, they're basically responsible for working with engineers, architects, surveyors, and contractors to design, develop, and build civil engineering projects. Civil engineering projects consist of roads, bridges, dams, bulkheads, buildings. Now, when it comes to civil engineering technologists, they must ensure the projects that they're involved in are economical and functional, and they meet all applicable standards and building codes. Now, some statistics to tell you. And I'm going back to 2020, because as of November 26, 2020, the average annual pay for a civil engineering technologist in the United States is $78,000 a year. Just in case you need a simple salary, I have calculated that out for you. So that works out to be $37.50 an hour. And this is equivalent of $1,500 per week or $6,500 a month. Now, I got that by multiplying 3750 times 1,500. Now, what I'm going to give you right now is something that you need to see. And a number of individuals who do STEM videos, they're not going to show you this. What you are looking at right now is a typical 2-year schedule if you want to just do the associate's degree. Everybody starts off with Introduction to Engineering Technology. Now, what is that class? Well, Introduction to Engineering Technology, just like the course I took over at Ivy Tech, basically introduces you to some engineering concepts. It gives you an overview of different types of engineering disciplines. And you go through some math, you go through some reports, but it's basically introducing you to the fields of engineering technology. And you get into graphics. Graphics deals with computer-aided graphics, architectural graphics. Now, I'm giving you all the information for civil engineering technology, and you deal with construction methods, or we call it construction methods and materials. You learn all about standards in that course. You learn all about foundations. You learn all about the different types of structures and how they're constructed. Because when you get out in the field, the contractor is all about methods and materials, because the contractor has to get the job done on budget and on time. Then you deal with hydraulics, fluid mechanics. And again, you deal with calculus. Now, if you don't take calculus, you have to take something that's known as pre-calculus, which is just a step up above algebra and trigonometry. You learn your functions, and then you take that into calculus 1, which is basically differential calculus, where you do derivatives. Then you have your integral calculus, which is calculus 2. Now, calculus 2 can be a difficult course because you have to utilize a lot of integration by parts and trigonometric functions, and then your upper level math. And your upper level math is going to be a statistics course, a differential equations course, or it's going to be a course in calculus-based statistics. Then, of course, you have your English composition, some of your gen eds, you take a basic surveying class, chemistry. Again, when it comes to physics, your physics could be either calculus-based physics or algebra-based physics. Again, you have statistics and strength of materials. Now, there's also a dynamics course, but civil engineers don't utilize a lot of dynamics because when you deal with dynamics, and I'll do a video on dynamics at a later time, might even do it this weekend. Dynamics deals with a lot of materials in motion. You have your centrifugal acceleration, you have your kinetic energy. It can be a very difficult course. Now, a lot of mechanical engineers take dynamics because they deal with manufacture. Well, they don't manufacture, they design a lot of machinery and machines move. And again, your gen eds, they're like your humanities courses, like American history, economics, psychology, anthropology, sociology. They want to give you well-roundedness. Then you have your elective, and generally your civil engineering elective is going to be something that's not in your curriculum. It could be rock mechanics, an advanced structural engineering course. Then you go to your upper level English course. Now, generally, that's a technical English class, your 300 level. It's a good class because you learn how to write technical reports. Then moving on, you have a computer programming course. It's generally a C programming course, social science. Social science, again, could be economics. And you have open elective, which could be any elective out there, professionalism or ethics course, soils, which is a soil mechanics course. Then you could deal with steel or concrete design or both, a transportation course, oral communications, which is a speech class, structural analysis. You have to take that before you take any of your design courses because you need to know what an indeterminate and a determinate structure is before you can actually deal with designing anything that has loads like your snow loads, your wind loads. Then you have water and wastewater. I did say transportation or highway design. Then you have a lot of extra civil engineering electives. Now, when you get into your 400 level courses, again, generally, you'll take a steel design, concrete design, transportation analysis, highway design, construction estimating and scheduling, or construction administration. Because generally, when you have civil engineering technology, there are other disciplines within that field that you may want to work in. And if you look at the pattern, you generally have a lot of courses from each specialization in a 4-year program. Now, if you go on to a master's degree, you can specialize in something. Now, moving on. Here we go. Here are some of your civil engineering technology disciplines. Structural engineering technology, which deals with structures. If you want soil, it's geotechnical engineering technology. If you want to deal with wastewater, pollution, hazardous waste, then you deal with environmental engineering technology. If you want to deal with trip distribution, highway design, traffic engineering, then you go into transportation engineering technology. You want to deal with stormwater management, water lines, then you go into municipal engineering technology or waste or water resources engineering technology. Now, when we deal with municipal engineering technology. It's basically tied into water resources engineering technology. Municipal engineering deals with a lot of your city streets. That's what that is. Design street systems. You also manage stormwater, storm sewer, survey and engineering technology. You deal with a lot of surveying. Surveying is very important because within surveying, you're the one setting the points that are established from control points. Surveyors get involved with making maps. Surveyors get involved with setting points for buildings. Surveyors get involved with construction and route surveying, laying out curb and gutter. Surveyors are also important when it comes to photogrammetry. That's its own separate entity. And they're badly needed. Now, you have to do a lot of field work, but you do some inside work as well because they have different CAD systems like Carlson software, which is good for surveying. Then construction engineering technology. Construction engineering technology is equated with construction management engineering technology, construction engineering management technology. Some of your schools have that curriculum, but there are some schools, particularly the ones here in Indiana, like Purdue, Fort Wayne, and IUPUI, they actually changed their curriculums into construction management programs because a number of individuals don't know what construction engineering technology is. Basically, construction engineering technology is an interdisciplinary engineering technology that involves a little bit of architectural engineering, construction management, civil engineering, construction science, and a little bit of business. That's what that is. Then when we deal with municipal engineering, or we call it urban engineering, that just deals with your street design, your land development. Again, good land development involves laying out proper drainage for water runoff. Now, again, when we deal with civil engineering technology, the great or the most important focus is on infrastructure, like wastewater, hazardous waste, sanitary landfills, utilities, building facilities, airports, harbors, roads. Of course, we deal with buildings, we have to deal with codes and specifications, dams, sewage systems, pipelines, railways, structural components of buildings like your beams. You got to know what an I-beam is. You got to know what a W-beam is. You have to know what rebar is. You got to know your design specifications. Now, typical jobs for civil engineering technologists, very simple. Again, typical, I'm going to say types of jobs that you can get as a civil engineering technologist will be in planning, design, construction, management. Who knows? If you don't want to be in the field anymore, you can get your MS degree, you can get your PhD and become a teacher. And if you get your PE, you don't have to work for anyone. You can sign plans. You can be an entrepreneur. You have a number of civil engineers out there who own consulting firms. And again, when it comes to civil engineering technology, the projected annual change in employment, and these are actual numbers, from 2016 to 2026, we're going to have 11% growth. That's faster than average. Now, civil engineering technologists with ample experience may move into senior positions such as project managers or functional managers of design, construction, operation, or even maintenance. In other words, you can work for consulting firms, you can work for State Department of Transportation. Most of your civil engineers do a lot of work for the government. Now, however, again, they would need to first obtain the FE and then the PE license, because only licensed engineers can assume responsibilities for public projects. And in order to get your PE, you have to work under a PE who recognizes your work for 4 years if you have passed the FE exam and have 4 years experience, or 4 years of experience, and that's work experience. If you have a master's degree, 3 years of work experience. Now, again, licensure is not required for entry-level positions as a civil engineer technologist. A professional engineering license, which allows for higher levels of leadership and independence, can be acquired later in one's career, because licensed engineers are called professional engineers, or we call them PEs. Again, a PE can oversee the work of other engineers, like approving design plans. They can sign off on projects, and they can provide services that are directly related to the public. And as you know, come to the end of the presentation. But once again, when we deal with engineering technology, we deal with infrastructure like your roads, your bridges, your tunnels, your dams. And if you're interested in becoming a civil engineering technologist, go to your local community college. But in the end, civil engineering technology is the technology branch of civil engineering. And once again, thank you for viewing this video on civil engineering technology from the Mind of STEM channel, because on this channel, you get a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. Now, if you're looking for some deeper content, you check out my other channel, the 401 Talk Zone radio show on YouTube, and you can also check out my Blog Talk radio show. Now, lately, I've been combining Zoom and Blog Talk radio. Now, my Blog Talk radio show does have a call-in number. It's 215-383-5785. Now, if you cannot find me on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, you can simply find me on Twitter, MeWe, and Parler. Now, I post all of my videos, whether they're STEM videos or my topic videos, on Twitter. When it comes to deep content videos in politics or news, I post everything from talking about voting, economics, just on MeWe and Parler. Why? Because those platforms are strictly political platforms. Also, when it comes to this channel, the Mind of STEM channel, it's an educational channel. And what I'm here to do is provide you with an overview and a tool to get you into STEM fields. Again, thank you for viewing this information from the Mind of STEM channel, where you get a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. I want you to have a wonderful and gracious evening, and God bless you.